The state's rivers and streams, but access to those rivers could soon be restricted.
A recent lawsuit ruled that an Upson County landowner has exclusive rights to the fish on a popular stretch of the Flint River. And that legal action could have ripple effects across Georgia. New at 5, Channel 2's Brian Mims breaks down how advocates and lawmakers are trying to navigate the rights of the public versus those of private landowners.
This all boils down to who owns our state's rivers and who has the right to fish on them. But a lawsuit and state laws seem only to muddy the water. Paddling here on the picturesque Yellow Jacket shoals, the Flint River whips itself into a lather. The shallows are awash in white spider lilies, and the prized shoal bass lurk under rocks. From his kayak, Marshall Stamps reels one in.
It's the best feeling in the world for me.
But as he recently fished these shoals, he caught this on camera.
It's public to float, but private to fish.
A man emerged from the woods telling him he could not fish this stretch of river. It's private property.
My initial reaction was I just couldn't believe it. I'm on a public river. There's a public access sign right here behind me.
This is looking upstream.
The man in the video is Mike Smith, who leases land along Yellow Jacket shoals, owned by the Bruton family. And he's right. Stamps is not allowed to fish here. Last year, the state settled a lawsuit giving the family exclusive rights to fish the Flint from the riverbank to the middle of the stream. That's because the family's property title dated back to a land grant from before 1863. Now, no fishing signs hang from the trees. Gordon Rogers, executive director of the Flint Riverkeeper, calls it absurd. All rivers, he says, should belong to the people.
I understand that those landowners are passionate about it, and they're not trying necessarily to influence policy for the whole state, but they open a can of worms.
It could impact further generations, and it could just be a stepping stone to more public areas and more things going private and not accessible to the public.
Smith disagrees.
This does not in any way impede people from floating through and enjoying these shoals. This is all about fishing, nothing else.
But soon after the lawsuit, state lawmakers passed Senate Bill 115. It affirms the public's right to fish, hunt, and travel the state's navigable streams. But there's the snag. What exactly is navigable? April Lipscomb is the senior attorney for the Southern Environmental Law Center.
If you ask most people, they would say, well, if you can float a boat down it, it's navigable, right? Not necessarily, because we have to make things complicated with legal definitions.
Since the 19th century, the state has defined navigable streams as those capable of carrying boats hauling freight.
There's very little Georgia case law interpreting what a navigable stream means.
James Burchett is a Republican state representative from Waycross who's trying to pass a law that clears up the murky definition. If a stretch of water is not deemed navigable, a landowner can claim exclusive rights to the center of the waterway. A landowner who owns both sides can claim the entire area.
What I want ultimately is just this. I want to put out a map and the General Assembly designate what is navigable and where folks can be.
You can see where they'll come, they'll try to come over the fence sometimes in their boats and stuff.
Justin Pearson owns land along the Satilla River in South Georgia. When the river floods, he says, boaters sometimes venture onto his underwater property. He thinks this legislation will help river users better understand what's private and what's not.
Maybe they're thinking just because the river is this high, we can just cruise around wherever we like.
The game wardens told me one thing. I've had legal representatives tell me another. So myself and other anglers in the area, we're just really not sure of what the law actually is.
The state legislature passed yet another bill this year guaranteeing citizens' right to hunt and fish on the state's navigable streams. But river advocates say it doesn't go far enough to protect public access. Brian Mims, Channel 2, Action News.